President Trump introducing yet another participant at this forum. Very critical comments we just heard, amazing, in fact, from George Flaggs Jr. He's the mayor of Vicksburg, Mississippi. I want to bring back Independent Women's Forum senior policy analyst Patrice Onwuka. Patrice, when the mayor of a town of 24,000 people say, our town created 54% of all the new jobs in the state because of this program, you've got to sit up and listen.
You absolutely have to. I mean, it's really impressive that such a small hidden gem in the tax law from 2017 could spur so much economic opportunity, that it's not just creating businesses, but also, hiring people. To hear the comments, especially from the former NFLer, that this is not about partisan politics. This is not about people of color necessarily. This is really about working across the lines to help all Americans. And I think it comes across when you talk about opportunity zones. We've seen experimental programs like this tried in the past, but this is something on a much larger scale that I think could have some really transformational impacts on a lot of communities.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because even this plan has sort of had trouble gaining the traction that you would think, that it would be a slam dunk. And apparently the Treasury Department today making it easier now for funds to be developed, for investors to get involved. I had David Nelson on the show yesterday, his firm raising money to take advantage of this. So we are really talking about now bringing in big time money to develop these areas.
Well, you're talking about $6 trillion of unrealized capital gains sitting on the sidelines. And I think the president, and folks like Tim Scott, really want to get that money off the sidelines and into communities that have been blighted. Something like 60 million, maybe 35 million people live in communities. And we're not just talking about inner city, black communities. We're talking about rural America. We're talking about Appalachia. And so there are lots of different communities that would suddenly get access to a lot of capital for things like grocery stores, small businesses, home housing. So there are lots of different needs that would be touched by this program. Unfortunately, I think we have to see what's going to come out of this. There are some folks on both the left and the right who have questions about opportunity zones, but so far they seem very promising.
The difference, though, and we're going on about 55 years since the Great Society, right? And it began, to your point, with a walk through Appalachia. That's how it was launched in this country. And so we're still dealing with the area of rural areas, urban areas where there's major economic, disenfranchisement. But, they're talking about dealing with youth violence, prison re-entry for prisoners, low-income housing. So there's a lot of pieces to this that other administrations did not address for one reason or another.
Yeah, it's interesting how they weave together or sew together all these different communities that have been affected negatively or feel like they've been left behind into a policy that's going to address all of these different areas. What's funny, Charles, is that we're hearing so much from 2020 candidates about reparations. Well, I think this is actually a better step, a forward-looking step in terms of building sustainable, long-term economic opportunity and wealth for black communities and all communities.
Teach a man to fish and put a pond in his backyard, I think, is a lot better than cutting a check. Patrice, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.